All right.
And we're live. Every time I try to use,
Every time you try to get fancy, it's when you try to get
just
fancy.
gotta be simple, I guess, you guys. Anyway, sorry about that. That was totally my fault. We was going good there for a second.
Welcome back to Alex Car Doctor Q&A, where we'll be giving you car news that you can use. And
Answering your car questions, and I'm Mrs. Car Doctor.
I'm Alex Car Doctor. We're trying this for the second time.
You know what? Just keep coming back. I'm gonna get it right. I am. I know I am, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Anyways, yes, we're back. If you joining the live, drop your name and get down in the chat where you're from. Ask your car questions, all of that. Say, what's up? How's y'all Sunday? Alex, we was chilling, okay?
Yes, it's raining over here, so we're really laid back. And
yeah, man.
Enjoying the rain.
I almost didn't make the live today, but I was like, we should do it because we said that we was, and I believe your word is bond. Alabama Roll Tide. You know, I support the Roll Tide because our sister Chloe graduated from down there, and that's her thing. So, right on, brother. Right on. So as we get rolling with y'all car questions and comments, y'all know I like to do the automotive news you can use, right?
She's my news anchor.
Yes.
Reporter lady.
I was sitting down minding my own business, you guys, and I came across this article, right, that was like Jeep and Ram, there's 79,937 recalls on the Jeep and Ram vehicles. And I was like, dang, that's an astronomical number, right? And so I was just reading the article about it, and I wanted to use the other program because I could have shared the screen with y'all so y'all can see. I'm gonna have to go back and add the links to this description box so y'all can see. But I was like, 79,000 recall. That's a lot. And I was thinking about how, you know, everybody's always talking about, did you guys check out the Civic Type R? Did you check that out?
No. It's a Honda. It's not too much to check out. They're going to do what they do.
You like Hondas?
I love Hondas.
See? But I was just thinking, like, 79,000 recalls. So what was the recalls about? And I'm gonna pull it up on my computer down here. And I was like, that's a lot. And everybody's always dogging Chrysler or whatever. But I noticed nobody ever says anything bad about the Jeep. And the Jeeps be tripping too. The Jeep Wranglers are tripping too. You know what I mean? You know, everybody don't say nothing about what's it called.
Because the Jeep Wrangler have the same engine, 3.6 Pentastar, unless you have the 4-liter turbocharged gas burner. I think it's a 2-liter. That engine is great, by the way. And the diesel, of course. I'm always going to bring up diesels.
Everybody's trashing, 3.6 is crap. Jeep is crap. Stellantis is crap. Nobody say nothing about y'all beloved Jeep Wrangler when they clearly...
They probably driving around in the Wrangler. That's
right. Clearly, they have issues, too. And so the letters actually haven't started rolling out for the Jeep Wrangler, recall yet. They're going to start mailing letters December the 2nd. So I'm helping bring the news to you first. And I got it from autoblog.com. Got to mention that. And like I said, I'll put the
trouble pumping gas into the 2013 3.7 F-150.
He said, have a customer call says they are having trouble pumping gas into their 2013 and the gas tank looks like it was completely sucked in. What in the heck? Man, you know what?
Some kind of vent valve issue, something going on with their eval system.
I feel like we just went over something like that with somebody else where their gas tank was sucked in.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with the vent valve being stuck closed. That'll do it. Excessive vacuum pressure on that tank.
But back to the recalls. So Stellantis has 3 more to add to the pile, meaning there are already recalls on this vehicle, right? They're adding 3 more: Jeep Wrangler, Jeep Gladiator, which is your favorite,
not the Gladiator,
and a Ram 1500. Something about their high pressure fuel pump. There's a recall on that, and it's already snared nearly 140,000 Jeeps and Rams from 2014 to 2020. And then the Ram model issues. I don't know. It just gets deeper and deeper into which models which dates they were built from, and all that kind of thing. So if you own a Jeep or Ram, you might want to check that out. But then I started going down the rabbit hole of, okay, well, why nobody ever talk about how bad Jeep is? So Forbes Auto has this list and 32 new cars you should avoid, right? And right there on page 16, page whatever, number 16 is the Jeep Wrangler Limited and Unlimited. It scored very low with Consumer Reports, and it scored very low on JD Power. Your thoughts?
Oh man, I'm kind of biased because I like Wrangler. I've been a big diehard Wrangler fan for a while now.
But it's on the 32 cars to avoid.
I say put an LS in it and call it a day. No, LS.
No, Cam's 99. I hope I'm saying it right. You haven't missed it. He said he just bought his wife a Jeep Cherokee Altitude. First of all, shout out to you for buying your wife a car, okay? And on behalf of all wives, we appreciate it when our man take care of us. All right? So kudos to you.
What engine does it have? The 3.6?
He didn't say yet. So Cams, let us know what engine does it have in there. But I'm just saying, like you said, there's a lot of biased people out there dogging Stellantis about their other products.
My thing is this. It all boils down to what is Chrysler doing to rectify the situation. Let's take GM, for example. GM been having this lifter failure issue forever.
3.6.
They 3.6. I'll get back to that. They've been having this lifter issue forever. What are they doing about it? It look like they're dragging butt. Literally. And I have a customer. I was doing a video and my front desk lady Shan came up to me and said a guy called from Virginia, and he was in the middle of suing GM, and he only wants Alex, the car doctor, to touch his Cadillac. I think it was a 2016. At least Chrysler is trying to do stuff to rectify the situation. So no hard feelings about it. I don't know. I want to hear from you guys. I like older vehicles. You know, the more complex things get, the more problems you're going to have. It's just that simple. Back to the 3.6. Really, that Jeep, he said he just bought it. What year is it?
So was it a 2022 or 23? I guess, are they rolling out 23?
Yeah, oh yeah. Jeep Cherokee, they have the 4xe Cherokee, which is pretty cool.
And I hate to say this, but the Jeep Cherokee is on the 32 list to avoid too.
Okay, he has a 2022. So you're not gonna really have no issues right now. Just make sure when recalls come out, that's the main thing. Get your vehicle to the dealership and have those recalls fixed. When you avoid the recall list, I'm not worried about it. You do to me. Quick story. We have a 2011 Jetta, which we always talk about. The reason I bought the car was because I felt that VW Group was really for the people. As newer vehicles come out, emission standards get really strict, and diesel's always been VW thing. They always had diesel model vehicles.
It's really big in Europe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they was really pushing it hard over here. And their 1.9, which is their older model diesels, was getting to be obsolete, couldn't meet emission standards, all that good stuff. So they came out with the 2-liter diesel, which anything newer has to outperform the old model. It just have to. And if it don't, people are not really going to like it, and they're going to revert back to the old stuff. So with emission standards strictening up how they were, VW decided they're going to cheat emissions and put a program on their car which detects when the vehicle is actually being tested when it's on the dyno. So it'll go into clean mode, and as soon as the car leaves the dyno, it goes back up to dirtiness, but get great performance, great fuel economy. And I heard that, I was like, yes, that's my car. I'm going to buy it for my wife. So they just sending me letter after letter, bring your car in, we got to fix it. I'm like, no, y'all not touching my car. So that's just my little quick 2 cents. Now, unless, You
He's
know,
saying, so you're
yeah.
saying to him, make sure he answer the recalls if there are any
Yes.
recalls, because right now it's new. He
Mhm.
says that he's heard so many bad things about the Jeeps, but it was what his wife wanted. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
you
a
gotta
smart
get you.
man.
Yeah, smart man. Happy
And
wife,
and
happy
her
life.
dream vehicle, and this is our first Jeep ever.
See, I would have. You had choices. You had engine choices, unless you didn't want to wait for a pre-order, because most likely you would have to pre-order the 4xe. The 4xe is the future, in my opinion, when it comes to hybrid technology. I would have opted for that. And it has the 4-cylinder engine, which I never see in my shop. The 3.6s, yes, I see them all the time. It's so bad that I have a scrap pile of 3.6 engines that's sitting in my corner for me borrowing parts off of it. You know, it keeps me in business. Anytime I get an opportunity to buy a 3.6, I jump straight on it because they sell. People like the Chargers. Jeep product, I mean, Chrysler product in general. Stellantis product in general sells great. Just be careful. What's his name?
I think it's Cam's 99.
Cam's 99. Just make sure you be very careful who you let change your engine oil. A lot of people get their 3.6s messed up when they go to these little quick lube places.
Meaning the Jiffy Lube.
Yeah, 5-minute oil change. They use generic oil, cheap stuff. These newer vehicles don't like that at all. You have to use high quality oil, full synthetic, from top manufacturers like Mobil 1, Castrol, Valvoline, things like that. Do not put SuperTech Walmart oil in your brand new car.
Or Amazon's oil. I mean, I get, I don't know.
I seen a study on that. The Amazon full synthetic. I have to. Project Farms, he did there's another YouTuber I like to watch. He tests all different types of things. This dude go deep. He tests oils. He tests, I don't know, different fuel additives. He goes deep. He tests tools, the breaking points, and he puts stuff on the microscope. So Project Farms is
check him out for oils and stuff like that.
He actually sends the oils off to the lab to be tested. And I think he did an Amazon test on their oil, their full synthetic. And I forgot the results, but you should go check that out.
2 questions right quick on Cam's still. Now, the 3.6 engine, we're talking about the Pentastar. Well, I read that there were 3 generations of that.
Yes.
Now. So, and we got a Chrysler tech in the house since 1984. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
He said he's never saw a lift the problem with the 3.6, but he sees bad rockers. And you can help answer this question too. Is it Turbo Tom? Are they getting better with the new generations of 3.6 Pentastar, because Cam would have the latest
their
version.
Emission standards are getting more stricter because we just did a 2018. This was the 3rd generation of the 3.6 Pentastar, and I'm noticing an EGR cooler on the side of these engines now. And
she blew her head gaskets, by the way. She had like a 2018 Jeep
with like
Cherokee.
50,000-60,000 miles.
She said that the dash said it was too hot. She's talking about it. She said she thought it was talking about the weather. Blew her head gaskets on her new Jeep, honey, and we had to swap that engine out. But so Cam's, to answer your question, I mean, it's what your wife.
I have nothing against the 3.6. I think it's a great engine if you take care of it. That's with any machine. Like I tell everybody, if you take care of engine, it'll take care of you. And comparing it to Toyota and Honda, they just can take more abuse. They can be neglected
a little bit more neglect,
versus a 3.6 Pentastar is a little bit more fine-tuned. It has a lot of power, and stuff that got a lot of power. What has, correct my grammar here, and my grammar is trash sometimes.
It is.
But stuff that have the more power, get it out. Stuff have more power, you have to really take care of it.
But again, back to this Forbes list, because Forbes is a known entity, okay? And it says that number 23 on their list of cars to avoid is the Jeep Cherokee 2. And it scored a 40 to 47, which is a poor reliability rating. What are your thoughts on that? That's
because people don't know how to take care of their vehicles. It all goes back to the person, not the vehicle. Because the 3.6 Pentastar has won a lot of rewards, and they're produced in Oh man,
just about a whole bunch of stuff.
It's
Vans,
a very massively
Jeeps,
produced
cars.
engine. And anytime you have something massively produced like that, you're gonna see more problems with them. That's just my opinion. And because you got all different types of people buying these vehicles, and half of them don't know how to take care of their vehicles. Like this guy, he said, my family has an 08 Honda
It's
Sonata,
Hector.
and Hector, and Sonata,
Kia, Sedona,
Kia Hyundai. He loves the Kia
and
Hyundai.
people hate Kia and Hyundai.
I personally don't like. Well, I like them because they keep me in business.
but he says that they're good so far.
Because Mr. Hector, know how to take care of his vehicles. I have another customer that has a Sonata, and she brings her car to me. And she buys, I think, Royal Purple full synthetic oil. That car is going on well up in the 200,000 mile range. And yes, it's starting to burn oil now because I guess they wasn't expecting it to last that long, which most of the Kias and Hyundais don't, because they engine just be failing because people don't know how to take care of them.
In the same breath, we just had a customer. It was like a 2020 Hyundai, the blue one. She needed an engine.
Was it a 2020? I know it was blue.
It was newer.
It was a newer vehicle.
And she needs a doggone engine. So, I mean, are these cars just stopping out of nowhere, or can we chalk it up to bad design, or is it truly user neglect? So what do you think?
I can chop it up to oil. Because if you're not careful about oil, you can really destroy these new engines. These new engines are very tight tolerance engines, and they're not like the older models where you can just dump any old thing in there and keep it trucking. Like my 7.3, I can pretty much dump anything in there and it wouldn't care. With any older vehicle, it just don't care.
Okay, so Turbo Tom says head gaskets don't blow the heads and block warp because they overheat.
Yes, that's right.
Correct. But we have to use terminology that customers understand. So the closest relative thing is blown head gasket. They get the concept that it's going to cost a lot of money to do.
Now, I've seen blown head gaskets where the head gaskets deteriorated, and that's a blown head gasket. But in general speaking, the head will warp and the metal is no longer flat. The seal, it just can't seal it when it's no flat surface.
So, but I think that you're right. I mean, I don't know.
But I'm going to keep using the general terminology, blown head gasket, because that's what everybody understands.
Yeah. But that lady was like, I thought he was talking about it was hot outside. And then
my customers make me laugh.
User error there. And it's not a man-woman thing either, because we had some men come up in the shop talking crazy, And
I had this recent customer, right? The Dodge Durango dude. I'm about to make I'm about to make a video.
We did a short. We did the one we did short on with the lifter tick.
This dude came in. My wife asked him, like, "Are you sure you don't want a diagnostic?" He was like, "No, I know my vehicle. I just want plugs."
Yeah, I asked him. He said, "Hey, I want a tune-up." I said, "Okay, would you like? How you know you need tune-up?" He said, "It's a cylinder misfound. It's a misfound cylinder 5." I said, "Okay, but would you like it to be diagnosed, or do you want this?" "Oh, I just want to do tune-up." Okay, I'm going to do exactly what you request. I can suggest that we diagnose it ourselves. So, of course, he had the RT.
Yeah, the Hemi.
16 spark plugs. Okay, so we're not talking about
a cheap tune-up
here.
And, of course, we use great plugs.
Absolutely. Quality plugs, quality parts always. And so he gets the tune-up. And guess what? The car's still doing the same thing.
He's complaining. He's like, "Oh, it wasn't doing this before. It's still doing the same thing."
And I was like,
and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, dude, what are you implying? But I didn't say that. All I said is, you didn't want it diagnosed, and we didn't diagnose it. So continue on. He got the diagnostic and found out he had a collapse lifter. And when he came, he already had problems paying for the thing. Poor man. I really, my hat goes off.
It'd be tough. It's tough on folks. Yes. We don't really know his situation, but basically
he kept implying stuff that made me not want to fool with him anymore.
We don't like that.
Yes, we don't like that at all. So when we went on the test drive, he was like, "Oh, it wasn't driving like this before." Again, I thought to myself, what are you implying? But I don't get smart with nobody. All I replied is, "Well, sir, you have a collapsed lifter. Your truck is going to drive very funny." It was the intake lifter it was the intake valve that wasn't opening on the intake side. And he just stopped talking.
But then he told us, he was like, he already knew about the lifter. So
yeah,
it's like,
I'm like, dude, come on,
and
help me, help you.
This is gonna be another live, I promise you. Because everybody's always talking about how mechanic shops scam customers, but there are predatory customers out there too.
Big
Not
time.
saying that that's you, bro, if you watching, but there other people do that. That's the first thing they always say.
Then he was talking about, well, since the stuff didn't work,
so he wanted us to take off the spark plugs and send them back and put. I was like,
I've never heard this before, so it caught me by surprise. Like, oh, tell the part stores the wrong part. No, wait a minute.
One thing about it,
great
integrity.
Yes.
With customers and with vendors, because we have to continue to do business with them, and we want to continue to get business. So we don't lie. And I'm not about to take them off and send them back and say, hey, they ain't working. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? So
because I'm a business myself, and I don't want nobody to do me like
absolutely. That. You get what you put out there.
What goes around come around. You sow bad seeds, you already know.
They're going to grow. So, but to answer your question, Cams, your wife got the car now. Take best care of it as you can. And it's never a problem of if your car go out. It will.
Yes. And so Mr. Cam, this falls under you. Take care of your wife's car, man. That's your responsibility.
Hold up. She might take care of her own car.
I don't know about that. Cam, come in and tell me what you think. She just one of those people that put gas in and then keep it trucking and call you like, hey, some light on and come see about it.
Well, I do that, but still.
Oh, I'm wrong. I bet
got a lot of ladies out there that do their own thing. I mean, more power to them. But take care of the vehicle. I mean, Consumer Reports says it's not a good car. It has poor ratings. So I don't think it's all user error though. I really do think.
Where are they getting this knowledge from?
It's Consumer Report. What are you talking about?
Consumer Report. Whatever. I'm in this industry. I talk to plenty of people.
Whatever. Okay.
They probably buy
Fred,
this.
what's up? Good evening to
Somebody
you.
Said they Turbo Tom said they just need to make cars simple with just a PCM only. Yes, I definitely agree. They have so many modules.
It's getting out of hand. Electronic power steering stuff.
Toyota just came out with this variable compression motor. Your phone.
Oh, that's my mom.
Variable compression engine.
We just did a rack opinion on both a Chrysler Pacifica with electronic. I mean, it's getting to the point where you don't even need no power steering fluid because it's electrical and they're costing up $1,500 to $2,000.
It's ridiculous
for the part. You know what I mean? So, yes, Fred, we be up in Birmingham. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be there in 2 weeks actually for the weekend. So yes, sometimes we do roll through Birmingham.
Yeah, but my kids, they go to camp all over the place.
Yeah, they do. So we'll be there in a couple of weeks to spend the weekend right quick and come on back to Atlanta. But
we love Alabama.
Yeah, I'm still getting to know the place. But
I was thinking about buying some property up in Alabama, right?
It's cheap over in Talladega.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but it is. Talladega is a pretty cool place. But I don't know. These cars are getting out of hand as far as, to me, what seemed like unnecessary electronic systems.
Look, another funny story. Shan, my
front desk lady.
Yeah.
Hey, Shan, shout out to you if you're watching.
Shout out to you. So she has a Jeep Compass Trailhawk or whatever. What kind of Jeep she has?
I don't know.
Anywho, they're making these cars so sensitive and with electronics. I feel that they're becoming human. So her seriously now, the car has been acting real on cold days. She says it just acts stupid. It just does what it wants to do, and it's acting weird when it's cold, pretty much. I'm like, geez, the cars, they got so many sensors on them. They can feel, and
that car got the flu.
Like,
look. John Wolf, he says, I don't know about the Wrangler, but I have a Gladiator, and it's been good to me now for about 15,000 miles so far. Bought it new. The 3.6 seems to be good to some folks and not good to others.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
He also says, I've seen a guy trade in his Ram 1500 with the 3.6 and had 280,000 miles on it.
I've seen him with
when he traded it in. So I mean, so Joe Wolf, is it user error that's making these 3.6s go out, or is it just we can just chalk it up to
what you think?
Design, a little bit of both. Luck of the.
My opinion is user error.
Can't be.
Turbo Tom said all hybrid cars have variable compression. I don't know about that. Unless you're talking about a specific hybrid car. But you said all, so that's very broad. I do see quite a few hybrids, and for the most part, they share the engine with the regular gas engine.
Let me get to Fred, because Fred had a question. When they start getting all caps, that means want our attention. I see you, Fred. Let me see. Fred says, I have an Escalade. Lifters change. What should I expect next? And then he also says, what should I expect next? And will cruise control mess up my Escalade?
Oh, no. Cruise control is just like you driving down the street yourself. It's just the computer is controlling the throttle for you. What should you expect next? Make sure you know what oil is going in that truck.
Is it, what year is your Escalade? Because I think it's OW20.
Depending on what year.
What year is your Escalade, Fred?
The older 6.2s, I think they were still using.
Cam says, so basically treat it right and it'll treat you right. Yes. Absolutely, because
cars have feelings too.
I mean, not only that, like I tell the customers, these are machines. It's not a matter of
2020.
If it goes out, it's when. That's why there's service and repair sectors in place for these things. So always have your little emergency fund to the side. Read your manual. Look at the scheduled maintenance. Don't wait. Do the preventive maintenance, and you shouldn't have to do a major repair if you do it right. But then I know sometimes these things are inevitable, but treat the vehicle right, get your oil change, religious. As you can see, Joe Wolf said some 3.6s treat some people good and some don't. And Joe, do you work for Chrysler Jeep? Are you a tech? Let us know. And then he said
he agrees too. Change the oil and it'll treat you
okay,
well.
So Joe in the chat, I don't know if you can see in the chat cams, he said, just change the oil. Be religious about that thing. Like, put it on your iPhone. Reminder. It's time to change the oil. Something. He says he's a private chauffeur. Hey man, that's what y'all do with those Escalades. Yeah. We know a couple of Escalade chauffeur drivers, but yes.
You gave me 2 different years. Which one is
it? 2015 or 2020? Fred.
I believe it's 2015 because he wrote this first and changed it to 2015.
So what is that? What is that? OW20 still?
Yes, that's 020.
Okay.
So again, Mr. Fred, watch who you let change your oil, please. That's the biggest thing I think that's messing up these vehicles. Change it yourself if you have to, because sometimes people are.
If you know how.
Yeah. Sometimes people use contaminated funnels at these quick lube places. They're not caring. They're putting dirt in your engine. Express lube oil changes. I would never take my car there.
What is it? Jiffy Lube? What's that other quick place?
They get a bad reputation.
Precision Tune.
Yeah,
because a lot of people are not abreast on that kind of thing. I mean, you got people that still using 5W30 because that's just what they remember back in the days before this thing became what it is today. So look at the thing. Like I said, look at the manual. It tell you how to operate your machine.
My wife tell people that all the time.
I tell them 2 things. Read your manual. If you ain't got one, get one. Number 2, the mileage don't just tell you how far you've been. It tell you what time it is. Meaning, if at 120K, it's time to change your time belt, then you need to do that. So pay attention to that dash. Pay attention to those numbers.
Tango had an interesting.
Tango, he said, please recommend a 5 to 6. Wait a minute. Before I can get to Tango, I got to go catch Joe before it goes. He said, no, he's not a service tech. I was a big time Ford guy and had a bunch of Super Duties, F-150s, etc. Even ones that people say that the engines were problematic. Said last F-150 he had put 127,000 miles on it in 2 years, and it was a 14 with the 5.0. 2014 with the 5.0.
Mm-hmm.
So he says his 2.7 EcoBoost, he put 60,000 miles on it in 2 years, 0 problems as well. Is that the one we about to get with the Transit van?
No, it says it's 3.5 with the EcoBoost.
I wouldn't say we're necessarily.
I can't wait to turn up.
we're not necessarily Ford people, but we just keep
They just keep dropping in our laps. Literally
So,
dropping in our laps.
Before we have as many kids as we do, we had a Ford Explorer. We drove that thing everywhere.
And I call them exploders. They're not even explorers. That thing.
It was good to us though.
It was, but it broke down the most out of all our vehicles we done had. Mainly with coolant issues, but it always broke down at the right time. Thank God, it was never out of town when it broke down. It was always
we went everywhere: North Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, all over the
final
Southeast.
straw was when I was doing a routine service on it, and the valve covers to be exact. And on the passenger side head, the valve cover, not the head, you remove the valve cover. The chain is in the back. And I seen the guy missing. I'm like, you know what? I'm not taking this engine out to do a timing chain on this. I'm gonna sell it.
And we sold it. But then we got a Lincoln.
No, we got a Yukon.
Oh, we got a Yukon.
It was a rust bucket.
I love that truck though. But
I like
Lincoln Navigator 04.
Yes, I think it was an 04.
We're currently driving because Lincoln and Ford, same thing. And we're currently driving a
07 Navigator.
07 Lincoln Navigator. And then Alex drives a F-250 with the 7.3, which he loves that truck. And since we have a lot of kids and other kids that want to be with our kids, we need something that really can carry us. We're gonna go with the
Ford Transit
van. So
I did a lot of research.
We're not necessarily Ford people, but that's what it's looking like.
We was looking at the Chevy. I was looking at the diesel express van, but I was like, it's just so boring. It doesn't have the high roof. The design has been the same since the early 1990s.
Yeah. And I won't be cute coming out of it.
Nothing special.
You know.
Then I started looking. I was like, forget that. Even though I could get like 30 miles to the gallon, but it's boring. Right. Then I started looking at the Nissan NV. It was wonderful. It can tow a dang on house if you
gas mileage sucked though.
Gas mileage was terrible. So they're
EcoBoost, but we just learned that we gotta wait a year on the waiting list to even get
Not really, because if I buy it into my business, they said they'll push me through.
Oh well, yeah. I guess we're
gonna get it. Back to the questions. They started.
All right. Fred, the best place. If you're in Birmingham, buddy, just Google the best highly rated auto repair shop. Normally, when they have good ratings, they know what they're doing.
Yes. Look through the reviews.
Look through the reviews and read what they're saying. And I think that'll be the best place. You can do a real auto repair shop because those quick lube places. I mean, I'm sure I can get a job at the quick lube place. I know how to let the oil out, blah, blah, blah. So just Google a place. I got to go back to Tingo because he asked a question and I couldn't. He was like, recommend the best 5 to 6 years, something.
Oh, vehicles for.
Oh, Tingo, if you still on. Oh, here it is. Please recommend a 5 to 6 year old first car to an 18-year-old student who doesn't really like to drive. How important is how many owners a car has had? Great question. Yeah, that is a great question. What do you recommend? 18-year-old student.
Don't like to drive.
We have a 15-year-old, so we're in the car talks, and we got her Jeep.
Yes,
one of the old school, like 1999 Jeep Cherokees.
It has 300,000 miles on it,
and they run strong,
like a kid.
So that's her
Those
first car.
4 liters are wonderful. I would that don't like to drive, so I wouldn't put her. If it was my daughter, I wouldn't put her in nothing small because a small vehicle would intimidate the heck out of her. Big trucks going by, flying by, and smaller vehicles tend to get beat up by wind on the freeway. I don't know if you guys ever drove a small car.
Is she comfortable driving, Tingo? Like,
she don't like to drive, so I'm assuming not. So I would put her in some kind of little Toyota RAV4.
What about the Subaru Forester?
Or Forester? They have.
I love those.
The Forester have a great rollover rate because when you're talking about SUVs, anything that has a high center of gravity, they have a high chance of rolling over. And even the older Subarus, I personally had it's like a family member. Her son went out to snowy country and he rode the Subaru and he came out without a scratch.
Paul did do that. Yeah, he sure did. And that was impressive.
Yes, it was. That sucker completely rolled over.
Toyota RAV4
and Susie rode hers.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
came
yeah.
out, man.
Both of
So
them.
yeah, they both rolled their vehicles.
So it's safe. You never seen
Yeah.
the Subaru commercials where it be crunched up real bad, and the guy be like, "Well, they survived."
Volvo is amazing. Volvo has some of the top. They pride themselves on safety. That's all I'm gonna say. So I would definitely
What
get
about
my
reliability though?
any European car with that much stuff in it.
It's for an 18-year-old. So we need to stick to Toyota.
I was still
or the Subaru.
I can't count. I can't get in that man's wallet. He may have the money to maintain that car.
Tingo, you don't feel like doing all that. So
but that's my opinion.
Toyota RAV4 or the Subaru Forester is gonna be my pick.
Or a Honda CRV.
But
I don't know about the rollover on the CRVs because I haven't had any personal stories with them rolling over with survival rates.
But as a parent, we got a daughter. She'll be 18 in 3 years. We rolling with. I would do Subaru Forester.
Yes, I was gonna actually get her a Subaru Forester, but a family member actually gave her this Jeep. And
yeah, man, I rode around in that Jeep as a kid.
That's how long it's been in the family that long. It's a one owner.
All right, roll. Fred want to know.
Oh, the answer is other question. To me, owners really don't matter. If you get it checked over by a good quality mechanic, he'll let you know. And sometimes it just depends. You know, it's really hard to say because it don't really matter how many owners it has. I've seen cars with one owner look like they don't had about 10 owners. And I've seen cars with 10 owners have immaculate service records. I'm like, wow, night and day difference.
Yeah.
But that answers your questions. Owners to me really don't matter.
Look, figure out what brand you're gonna get. Is it safe? When you do acquire the vehicle, try to see what maintenance need to be done because you're going to be taking it over. So just take it somewhere, have it inspected, bring the maintenance up to par if it's not. And then if it is, just look ahead and get that manual.
And try to find one with a service binder. Sometimes we bought cars from the service, from the auction, open the glove compartment, they have a big binder in there with all kind of service records.
Jackpot. I love those. I love those. I got one right now, Chrysler van.
Oh yes, it has like
got so many records in there,
everywhere.
And I'm like, boy, this about to be a selling feature.
All right, but let's move on.
Fred want to know. He said he got 180K on the dash for the thing, right? On his Escalade. He just got the new lifters. He want to know if he can get another 100,000 miles.
Oh yes, for sure. If they put quality lifters in your truck and not eBay crap, because you have eBay crap, you should get plenty of miles. Now, it boils down to what they put in there, because when I'm doing lifters at my shop, I'm very picky of what I choose. It's either milling, and steel. Even then, I've had another one of my suppliers just recently let me down.
Steel Power, or is it D&J?
No, D&J. D&J is a very good top-known brand, which I will continue to use them. But when you do so many lifters like I do, something is bound to happen. I'm bound to get bad parts.
But so that leads into what Joe Wolf just asked. He says that I think he just said somewhere that they're having trouble getting the parts or something like that.
I seen that too, but
I'm trying to find your comment, Joe.
They done went all over the place.
Right. He was, but that's true, Joe. We're having problem finding lifters. Cams are on back orders because it's such a problem with the Cadillac Escalade. We're doing a Chevy Avalanche in the shop right now. We went to the dealership and they was like, we're having problem getting them. So we can't find any aftermarket when we're talking about milling, sealed power. Nobody has those locally. And we went to the dealership. I mean, we needed 4 DODs. And they had that, but he was like, they're getting scarce. So it's like, I don't know if we're gonna have a big issue coming with the lifters not being available, but I definitely know on a Escalade that we just did, the cam was on back order. So
that answers his question. What's your experience? Yeah, I've just said that I just received some bad lifters, which really sucks because I had to take the heads back off. And of course, I supplied the parts, so the repairs falls under me.
Tingo said a Toyota Corolla. Absolutely.
Oh, yes. But like I said, it's a small car. This is the Corolla we're talking about. It's their smallest sedan. It's going to get blown around a little bit on the freeway. I would look into the Camry. It's a little bit bigger sedan. Anything is a little bit bigger is a little bit more safer, in my opinion.
Right. Joe, thanks for answering Tingo's questions in the chat. But yeah, Corollas and Camrys, that's
super reliable.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Joe said,
you can completely neglect them. I've seen so bad. Like, how is this car even still driving? Like, what are you doing to it? Just ride.
Right. He said, how much for an oil change? On that Escalade, you need to be getting a full synthetic.
Yes.
You need to be getting a full synthetic. So anywhere, depends on, I don't know how much they charge in Alabama, but I say $150 to $200 for.
Not that much, is it?
Man, oil went up.
What, did it go back down?
I don't know. He don't write the quotes
No,
at our
I
shop.
don't.
I do.
I don't deal with the prices. I get a lot of people in my comment section me asking me about how much this costs. I'm like,
I write the quotes. So
yeah, that's her division.
I know Valvoline, I would say 150, but again, I don't know that shop's labor rate and their markup.
It's a lot of stuff is involved. Small towns, they may be a little bit more expensive,
right? Or cheaper. I don't know.
Part scarcity. I don't know how it works.
Mike Pete says it's just frustrating because I baby my cars, regular oil changes, and I always take care of them. Chrysler's put garbage rocker arms in, nothing we can do about it. How do I solve my catalytic converter check engine light? Change the cats.
No, you can do more than just change.
Like what?
You can try doing a fuel induction service.
He got 180,000 miles.
What kind of car he has?
Cadillac Escalade. That's Fred.
Okay. Oh, Fred. Fuel induction service.
Try that.
Yes, I would definitely try that first. Make sure your spark plugs. This is what I tell my customer, because cats don't get bull crap cats, meaning go on eBay and get $130 bolt on. Good deal. No, please don't do that. You'll be within about 3 months to a year, you'll be back replacing them.
Call them ear cats.
Yeah. Do this two things. Did I say that right? Do this two things. That is saying. Do these. Yes. Like I said, my grandma is trash. Do these two things.
From Atlanta.
Yes.
Nah, for real, we know how to talk.
My wife know how to talk. I'll be honest with you. Nope. I'm in hood as it gets. It may not look like it, but yeah. Do these two things. Make sure your spark plugs is up to date. If you're driving around with outdated spark plugs, meaning you still got the original spark plugs, and you well over 100,000 miles, because those spark plugs in the Cadillacs are iridiums, and they normally last to up to 100,000 miles. And if you got 140,000 miles on original spark plugs, all the gas will not be burnt, sending a lot of unburnt gas down your exhaust, which the cats cannot filter out that much, and it'll throw a cat code. It's going to blame something. So make sure your spark plugs are up to date. Fuel induction service. The modern car, I tell people this all the time. The modern car is very dirty. The modern car, like I tell my customers, it's like they like to eat their own hamburgers, like a human. That's kind of gross, right?
No, it's not. I never got that.
Eat their own hamburger. So
I like hamburgers.
After you eat a hamburger, imagine you use a restroom.
I know, but I know what it means, but that doesn't make any sense. But go ahead.
Okay, so I can explain it to you, so you can understand it.
Once and for all. They might get it. You can explain to me, but
I'm gonna explain it anyway.
I would rather say eat its own crap.
No, eat its own hamburgers. It sounds better. Crap is.
But listen,
the modern car is very dirty.
Thank you.
It takes different things like exhaust fumes, crankcase vapors, and reroutes it back into the engine to be burnt. Sometimes with cars with EGR systems, it takes what's going out to the tailpipe and reroutes that back into the gas. I mean, not the gas, but the engine to be reburnt. Also, if you have a direct injected vehicle, man, it gets really clogged up with soot and grime and buildup. You need to do a fuel induction service, especially if you have a direct injected fuel system, at least every 20 to 30,000 miles. That would clean up the cats, break up any residue in the engine. Your engine will perform better, get better fuel economy. It does a lot of great things. Even if it don't fix the cats, you can benefit from a fuel induction service. Well, normally a 50-50 chance.
Ultimately, Fred, replace catalytic converters.
But try that first.
But if it doesn't, you're using this vehicle to chauffeur your clients around, and that's really big here in Atlanta.
Should I just do a
take care of the car And honestly, I mean, you should have got a full tune-up when you did the lifter.
Yes.
That's what we would do.
Mhm.
But if you hadn't, do that. But I want to answer Joe's question. He says, do you think that the Hemis are more reliable than the 3.6? It's a setup question.
It is a setup. Oh man.
I'm gonna say no. I'm going to say no.
I gotta think about that one. That's a hard
They
question.
got the same problems though. They all tick. They all
yes, they do.
you know, we
now, okay. What would I get?
I would go 3.6.
Oh,
I wouldn't do a Hemi. I wouldn't.
I would do a Hemi. It's simple. It's simple. It's okay. With the 3.6, you have more moving parts. With more moving parts, you're gonna have more problems. 3.6 has a dual overhead cam design. Well, quad cam because it has 4 cams, 2 on each side. It has a timing chain, which is very long, and it has, it can stretch. I almost got you.
I'm for real. Like you talking with your hands.
So with the added chains and the overhead overhead cams, you're just gonna have more problems with that design versus an overhead valve design, which the 5.7 Hemi has. It has a small chain, maybe about a yay long. You just don't have that complexity, so it's a lot simpler. So I will say Hemi. Hemi is simplicity always wins.
And it's more reliable than 3.6.
I would say so. Yes.
All right,
if you set it up right.
Mike P says, am I crazy or is conventional oil disappearing from the shelf? Used to get it all the time. Then once walked into Walmart and a few auto stores and it was replaced with synthetic or blends. I agree. And when I order oil,
that is true.
I don't see any conventional oil anymore.
Because in my opinion, the what's the store people, what they call help me, babe, what AutoZone called?
This AutoZone. Reps? Parts counter person?
I'm just gonna say the parts industry know that conventional oil in modern day cars is gonna tear them up.
Correct. Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
So they're trying to push synthetic out there, and they're trying to help you guys. But when you take your cars to quick lube places, they're gonna get the cheapest thing because they offering these great deals, which y'all think is great. Ooh, $20, $30 for oil change. I'm going to get it. They have the ability to get big quantities of oil really cheap, regular oil, not synthetic blend. I run synthetic blend as my bulk oil at my shop. It's a lot better than regular conventional. So yeah, they probably getting a regular conventional.
Miguel Hernandez. Let me say your name right. Miguel Hernandez. Right? I love Spanish. It's a beautiful language. He says, I have oil on 2 of my spark plugs, 3.6 Pentastar. Okay. Do you know what it could be?
Yes, I have. That's an easy one. Your valve cover gaskets. You need to change out your valve cover gaskets. The spark plug sits down in a well, and you have these tube seals that's a part of the valve cover gasket system, and they will start leaking, allowing oil to leak down on top of your spark plugs. Like I tell anybody, that's going to cause some issues on down the road if you don't get that fixed. Liquid and electricity does not mix, so please get that fixed as soon as possible. Change out your valve covers. What you doing, sweetie?
I'm trying to help Fred ask how much is a full tune-up. It depends.
Talking about for the Cadillac,
right? It depends on It depends. You're in Alabama, so even the number that I give you.
See, we're in Atlanta. Our labor rate is pretty. It's competitive. It's at around. Yeah, hair in my mouth.
It's not my hair. On a 2015, he's not allowed to shave until Shavember, whatever is done. I like the beard. Man. So let me just try to look it up for you real quick, Fred, and see.
It's going to be very different. It just depends on labor rate and parts. I want to answer this question from Fred. He says he's have water coming out of his tailpipe. That's a great thing, buddy. Yes, that sounds a little weird coming from me, right? Great thing, water coming out your tailpipe. Normally what that means is because you can have water coming out your tailpipe and you have a blown head gasket. That's not good. But on a normal basis, if you have water coming out your tailpipe, your catalytic converter is breaking down carbon monoxide and all the bad stuff and turning into H2O pretty much.
Hope that answers your question. And a generic answer to how much a full tune-up will cost, I would say around about $300, depending. Do make sure you put in the correct spark plug. Stay away from auto light.
Please, auto crap. That's what I call it.
And just put ask them if you're gonna buy the parts yourself, what is the material that's suggested for your vehicle?
It's iridium. If we're talking about the 2015 Cadillac.
Chris said, what brand of rotors are the best? Most seem to wear or rust quickly.
I'm not really a parts expert, but I haven't really had any bad experience with rotors. I've used cheap rotors.
Don't get value crap.
Yeah, value crap is crap.
Don't get the bottom of the line. Yeah. I honestly, call me biased, but I like Advance's CarQuest ones.
Well, we never had any issues.
Never had any issues out, but Duralast is fine too.
If you keep running through rotors, you may have an issue. Something may be binding. You may have another issue, or bad caliper or something down that line. And you're hopefully you're not using cheap brake pads, and you're using either mid-grade or higher. That matters a lot too.
Fred wants to know, how much do you charge and how long? Fred, we don't have our software up. We're not at work. So if you do want a authentic quote from Alex the Car Doctor, call 470-435-0015. Shan or myself will answer the phone, and I would love to give you a quote, and I can answer all that for you, but I just don't have that in front of me right now. Tune-ups takes different times on different vehicles, so I can't just pull a number off the top of my head. It's pretty
easy on that Cadillac, though.
So what would you guesstimate?
I don't deal with prices.
So, yeah. Call me. All right. I'd love to talk to you, Fred.
Love to hear from you.
All right. Call the shop. Google Alex the Car Doctor. They'll give you all the information, and we love to give you that information. Says, I have a Honda 2002 with the 1.7. Had it for 5 years. Seems like uses oil, no leaks, compression, good, all cylinders, no smoke, exhaust, no oil and spark plug tubes. Seem to have top off every 200,000 miles. If I come to y'all, how much would it be? Again, Fred, call and get the quote. 470-435-0015, and we can answer all that for you at the shop tomorrow. We open tomorrow,
we'll be open tomorrow.
9 to 6. So what's your question, Joe Cat? Or are you just saying you don't have no issues out of it? Because if you don't, that's wonderful. Those
1.7s are pretty strong. Just don't let them overheat. If you let that thing overheat, you're going to be in a world of trouble. They blow head gaskets pretty quick. I always tell my customers, because a lot of people, and I get on my customers about doing this, a lot of my customers like to cover up their temperature gauge with their children. I tell them, I'm like, your children is beautiful, but please move it to the side. That's one of the most important things. That's one of the most important gauge you can actually use to save your engine. Cover up your gas gauge. You're just gonna run out of gas and cut off. Put gas back in and then you off. Cover up your temperature gauge. Your thing run high. You're looking at thousands or a new motor. That's not good.
So, I don't know. Fred says Alex the Car Doctor. I don't know what he means by that. He says not sure where or why it's losing oil.
You're not seeing anything leak. I'm assuming. What's the mileage?
I think he said 200. No. What's the mileage? Yes. Joe Cat.
Yeah,
let me go back and see if I missed any other questions. Tell engine grenade himself. Man, Joe, you be knowing about these 3.6s and Hemis, my brother.
Joe is the man.
To be Mike P said there's no real problems with the 3.6. Mm-hmm. I would agree. I don't know. The engine just get trashed a lot. Yeah, he has 157,000 miles.
And he's not seeing any smoke. That's one I would really have to look at. Because normally if it's burning oil, you will see some smoke at idle. If you let it idle, sit there and idle for about 5 to 10 minutes, just sitting there, and you go in there and you can do this test yourself. Let it sit there and idle for about 5 to 15 minutes. And once it's idle that long, go inside the car, pat the gas a couple of times, and absorb what comes out the tailpipe. If it's white smoke, then you're burning oil, and it could be coming from your not tube seals, but valve seals. Over the years, those seals internally get worn out and get real dry and brittle, and it allows oil to pass into the combustion chamber and be burnt. I doubt if it's oil rings, because it only has 157,000 miles on it. That engine is still haven't even been broken in yet. So my guess would be valve seals. So do that test. And if it passed that test, I don't know. You could be leaking oil. And you're probably just not catching it because you're driving and it's probably blowing somewhere.
All right. Hopefully that helps you, Joe Cat. Let us know, man. If you find out, come back. Kenneth Williams. I have a 2010 Mazda 6 with 155,000 miles. So far, so good. But should I start looking for a new vehicle? A 4-cylinder. How long do these vehicles typically last?
Mazda get a really good rating. Me personally, I don't like them. I get some seldomly into the shop that need an engine,
or transmission.
Yeah, transmissions. But like I said, it goes back to user error. But
how are you with your maintenance, though?
Yeah, that's the key thing. Because that car will last you a long time. Just keep up with your maintenance. I don't think you need to get rid of your car. If you like it, I love it.
But here's the thing, though, and I want to say that to Kenneth and everybody else. I won't stick with the devil I know.
Yeah, that's the truth.
If you get a new car, hold on, Fred. If you get a new car, I mean that car is gonna come with its own set.
Even a brand new car, man.
Absolutely.
You may spend more time in the dealership getting recalls and
absolutely
all kind of stuff taken care of than you drive the car.
And then I don't know about what state. And then some of y'all, Joe Cat and
y'all tell us where y'all from.
Tell us where y'all from. I know Fred from Birmingham, but Chris and everybody else who's watching, drop down in the chat where you're located. But every car has its issues. Every
car has their.
There is no car that don't have problems. All right. Now you got some that might stretch out a long time before the problems, but every one of them have problems. Yes. Fred, call and make an appointment is best. Especially if you coming from Birmingham, we want to make sure that we can receive you and make sure we take care of you so you can get on back down that road. But I mean, if you're keeping up with your maintenance and stuff like that,
you're not gonna have any issues.
Yeah, but even if you do, a lot of people don't know that a lemon. I know in the state of Georgia, which is why I asked where y'all's from. Maybe y'all can look it up in y'all state. But the lemon law only applies to new cars off the lot. I'm a Georgia used car dealer, so the lemon law does not apply to a used vehicle. Sometimes you might get a lemon from the dealership. You see what I'm saying? So you just need to stick with your maintenance.
Now, I'm not talking about manufacturer defect here. I'm just talking about just plain old Jane, good, so-called good cars coming out the assembly line. So, there are defects that's coming out the assembly line with anything we have coming off the assembly line, parts, cars, refrigerators. That's why you have a warranty.
And that's why, right, that's what the warranty is for. And I don't think people go in or come out of the dealership after they bought their car with that logic. Yeah. That's why they have a warranty. So to answer your question,
defect.
I mean, I would keep my Mazda and keep on around.
Because they are good. I don't hear too many things. And the Forbes thing and what's the other magazine I like to read?
Consumer
Report. They rate that car very high.
Look it up. Yeah. Check the Consumer Report and just learn about your car. The more you learn about something, it's like football. I love football. Alex doesn't. But if you know your opponent's plays, then you can better run your plays. Anyway, shout out to the Falcons because we did beat the Panthers today. But anyway. All right.
Knowledge is power.
Right. Knowledge is power. Know what time it is when on your dash say, okay, if you're at 100 and what'd you say? How many miles?
157.
You're at 155,000 miles. Okay. Look and see what maintenance is due at that time, what you need to have inspected and kind of stay ahead of the curve. That's what I like to tell the customers. Fred, we open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
We're one of the latest opening shops.
We are.
It seems like it.
Kenneth, I try to stay on top of maintenance. We're located in Virginia, but I drive to New York to see my family. Wow. All right. I'm normally a Honda dude, but I got this car 10 years and it surpassed my expectations.
I told you, pretty good car. He talking about the Mazda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good car. It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's really an underrated car, in my opinion. That's one of those underrated cars that people don't really expect too much from. Like I say, the Mitsubishi Galants are
they underrated.
They're big time.
I love
underrated.
Galants.
Just keep up the timing belt.
Joe said, Joe, you're right. He said Consumer Reports rated the Ford 5.43 valve very high.
Oh gosh, no! I have the 3 valve, and every time I crank it up, I'm like, "Ugh, it's gonna blow up." I need to do the timing change.
Man, let me tell you, Joe,
that thing sucks.
They must have been rating it something else.
It's underpowered. I'm like, I hate driving my Lincoln. It's like I wish I had the money to put a supercharger on it and wake it up, but. I can't believe they did.
I'm gonna have to go look that up, Joe. For that. That's crazy.
That's funny. I have one and I don't like it. It's underpowered, timing chain problems out the wazoo, and
somebody in
the Lincoln, the 5.43 valve. Our Lincoln has that engine. I know a lot about they shoot spark plugs out the. They just
we're getting ready to do the timing chain on our Lincoln because we're getting ready to drive to Miami for Christmas. And
I say let it blow up. I don't want to put nobody in that truck.
Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Like I said, I'm a Georgia dealer. I got that truck for $3,500.
It's a $7,000 to $9,000 truck.
Right. So I get my cars really, really cheap, and I don't mind putting the money into it.
Yeah, swap a Chevy V8. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I need to do.
Fred
for the old school, the LS, the first generation LS, them things last 400,000-500,000 miles and still be purring like a kitten before the DOD system.
And they're still putting the DOD stuff.
I think I got the DOD in my cutlass, but I'm going to probably have to change.
Yes, y'all stay tuned for the LS swap. He gonna get around to it eventually. But Fred says, how many miles can he get out of his Escalade? He already at 180. We already know he swapped out the lifters.
Again, it goes back to what parts they use. They use crappy parts. Be prepared to put new lifters in there in a short mileage span. So you really need to go back and find out what part brand they used, and hit me back up if you're not sure about the part brand. Just shoot me a message on Instagram or find one of my videos. I will remember you. Just say, hey, this is Fred with the da-da-da that did the lifters. And these other parts they use.
Said, don't those Escalades have the AFM DOD in 2000? Yeah, they do.
They started it. I think they started a DOD mess in like 05, but really start pushing in 06.
I think next Sunday we'll talk about the Escalade.
Okay.
Let's do that on the live.
I have a lot to say about this.
We got to wrap this up. It's been an hour and time flies when you're having fun. I really enjoyed you guys in here. So let's do a recap. Fred, call me, man. 470-435-0015, and I give you a quote and everything like that. Joe Wolf said he should be the DOD stuff. To answer the question, we initially and we'd be grateful to have you, Fred.
Yes,
call me. If you want to ask me, my name is Sean. If you want to ask for me in particular, I manage and run the shop.
Yes, this is the go-to lady right here.
But Shan usually answers the phone. So just give her all your information. She's gonna quote you and we set you up an appointment. But to wrap it up, Jeeps, is we avoiding them or is we keeping them?
I'm keeping them.
All right.
I just love Jeeps. I like my Jeep.
So we don't need to stay away from them. Okay, let me ask another question. Jeep Cherokees, is we avoiding them?
They're the same thing as a Wrangler. They basically built off the same platform, the same engine, same transmission. So it's really hard to compare when you're talking about the Cherokee and the Wrangler because it's pretty much the same thing. It's just one you have a drop top SUV and the other one you can't really have that much fun with.
Well, I'm going to go back and let you guys decide for yourselves. I'm going to see, could I put the link to in the description?
Yes, honesty is my policy.
Both articles so you guys can read. If you have a Jeep, that's what's up. Alex's dream Jeep is the Gladiator.
Yes. Oh man, I can't wait to get mine.
We're in the process.
One.
We're in the process of acquiring a bigger shop, and so we got to save buying the toys for after that.
Running a shop takes all my money.
Your money.
And kids. My daughter, she's so expensive right now. gosh.
Right. Teenage daughter. So we have to wait before we can get toys. But you guys coming on here and supporting the live, and
I really appreciate that.
It supports the channel. So, but we're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Anything you got to say?
No, that's it. I still love you, Stellantis. Even though y'all get a lot of hate, I'm not, what's the word? Bias? No. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
But I don't know either. Joe said, I love mine. His Gladiator. You may want to think about the diesel, man. Lots of issues with those, mainly emission stuff.
I can't tell you what I'm gonna do to it because I can't really speak about that because Diesel Brothers got into some big trouble for some of the stuff they was doing. And I'm kind of down that road. I'm just gonna say that.
Hush. Fred is 470.
Just type it in the thing.
435-0015. All right, and call me. Now, listen, if you want to call and talk to Alex, you ain't gonna, because he be busy. So, but I'm always there to answer the phone. Thank you, Joe. Man, come back to the next live. We're trying to do them every Wednesday and every Sunday. So I love to start seeing some of y'all in here, getting to know some of y'all. Yes, Kenneth, we're trying to do the lives every Sunday around 7. So
and I have plenty of knowledge to share. This is, like I said on my last live, I eat, sleep, breathe this stuff, and I have a lot to share. I'm like a book.
I'm even I'm even when we're not on live and you still have a question, I'm just getting done building a website so you can submit your questions on there and we can still answer them on here. Just say if you think about something tomorrow.
And y'all let us know if you want my wife to really show y'all about the car sale side of the business. She's the lady for that. She does her flip videos.
We're flipping cars, baby, all day, every day on the block.
we flip cars. She's a licensed dealer in Georgia. She sells great cars because I work on them.
Right, absolutely. And I'm teaching y'all how to do that for y'all who want to get in the game. It's good money. It's great money.
Oh, great. I prefer to do that on the daily.
Absolutely.
Versus dealing with some.
So, yeah, Joe, man, fix that notification so you can be up with us lives every Sunday. And I think right now every Thursday. So,
just caught this one.
Yeah, he's saying his notifications. But we got to go. We headed on over to Online Mechanic Tips to see what he's talking about. And I think Alan is going to get on there too and talk about what it's like to run a shop. Thank y'all so much from our hearts. Kenneth, go watch some of my flip videos. And I got a couple of them that's coming next week too. So watch that and ask me anything you want. I'd be happy to help you. All right, you guys. Mrs. Car Doctor is out.
Alex Car Doctor out. See
y'all
you guys
have
on the next one.
Safe week. Blessings to you all. Bye.
Dang.